What's up guys, it's Logan here from the Motorcycle Forge, and today we're going to do our steering head bearings on our DT175 Yamaha. So it failed the last waff, and that's because the steering head is notchy. Now the easiest way to check your steering head bearings, you want your bike off the ground like so, and you just want to slowly go from left to right like that. And if it goes dunk dunk dunk, or it's tight loose, it means your steering head bearings need replacing or re-greasing. First step, we've got to remove this front wheel. Now we want to take the front forks out, so we want to remove anything that is attached to the forks. A couple of things to note. Technology is your friend, so use your phone, take photos of things if you don't think you're going to remember exactly the way they go back together. If you find your forks are a bit hard to get out, a little bit of WD-40 goes a long way. Now for really stubborn bolts, I would recommend heat and hammer. So give it a tap with the hammer. Now this is called the shock method, and it works extremely well with steel bolts and aluminium threads. And if that doesn't work, you can heat it up and the metal expanding will help get it loose. Using the permanent marker to mark the plugs will make things go back together so much quicker. There is a bolt and a nut on the other side, which are holding the top on, so we're going to loosen them off. And if you've got things like this, so we've got this headlight and everything hanging, and I've just attached it to the frame with a bungee cord supporting the weight so our wiring is not getting stressed. Now if you want to get your bars back in the exact same position that they were originally, a couple quick marks and it'll be super easy to realign. Now we're just going to use our magic hammer and a drift to remove our steering head bearing racers. And now we've got the last one, which is on the steering stem itself. To smash off, what we're going to use for this is a cold chisel and a hammer. And we're going to try tap it down this way and then down that way evenly so it comes off nice and straight. Hey! Now that we've got our old bearing racers out, we can have a look at them and see what's wrong. So you see those black marks there? That is rust, so water has gotten into these bearings. Now installing our new race in here, we have to be a lot smarter than we were removing the old one. What we're going to do to minimize damage to this is we're going to heat this up and we're going to put a little bit of assembly lubricant on it as well. Right, that's the top race in, bottom race in. Just make sure, get it nice and warm. Tap left, right, left, right, left, right. And it should go nice and square, and you can hear the sound change when it's all the way home. Now, before installing your inner race bearings, we want to pack them. So how you do that is, you get a big blob of grease on your hand, and you go like this, and it goes up on the inside of the rollers, because we don't just want to put the grease on the outside, we want to put it on the inside of the bearing as well. The last bearing left to install is the one on our steering stem, so make sure, put your seal on first, you don't want to forget that. We need a pipe or a tube that can we fit over here, and we can just tap it from the top and it'll just go down nice and square. And for that job I have a piece of exhaust tubing which fits over nicely and sits on that inner race. So we've got that bearing installed, that bearing's greased, that one's in and greased, that one's in and greased. Now let's chuck it together. Now with the steering head on there comes the hard bit of remembering where all this goes and where all those plugs go. So luckily we've marked it to make it a little bit easier, but it's still going to be a bit of a Now we've got these 100 million plugs back together. That's the hard bit done. Now we're going to put the forks and the front mudguard back in the motorbike. Make sure both your forks are installed at the same height, or it may be hard to install your axle. And if they are installed at the same height and it's still hard to install your axle may be bent. Right, now we've got the front wheel in, axles tight, we've plumbed all our cables and that's all in the correct spot. Now the final step is we're going to adjust the steering head bearing. We want one set of triple clamp bolts tight, and we've got the bolt up top is tight, and we've just got that set at a starting point. And we're going to check our steering head for play. So how we do that is both hands under the bottom of the forks, and we're going to wiggle it forwards and backs like this and see if we can feel any play. Because if there is, it'll go donk, 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 donk. That feels not too bad. Now, if our steering head did go donk, donk, that means we need to tighten it. So we've got our top bolt there, we're going to loosen that, and then this here is our adjuster, and we're going to put a C-spanner on that and give it a tweak, and then tighten up the top bolt. Check again, feel the play, and if we're down to no play, that's good. And then you're going to go side to side, left to right. If it's got a lot of resistance to go left to right, then it's too tight and you need to back it off. And the last part of adjusting your steering head bearings is just finish tightening up all your bolts. Make sure everything spins nice and freely, and you're ready to go for a hoon. I hope you learned something, and if you did, maybe consider subscribing. Now, if you have any questions for something you're working on at home, don't hesitate, leave a comment and I'll get back to you. And otherwise, this has been Logan from the Motorcycle Forge. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll catch you next time.